So here we are, folks, and we've got series number 2 in week 2 for both these players. We've got a player who pretty much made his mark in TTL. Titans League Season 3, we just talked about it. FreakinAndy opening up, beating Hera. That first round kind of blew everyone's mind. He ended up getting top 8 in that season. He's playing as the Persians, which is a civ I think is very strong on this map. Would always be strong on this map, but we made a tweak to this version of Acropolis. So we added a little bit of fish. And I've seen quite a few games with the Persians where they're able to have smooth eco on top of having some of the fish in the middle. Daniel's gone for Byzantines, the civ we just talked about in another series. And it's actually the same matchup, funnily enough, just on a different map. Byzantines can't compete with the Persian eco, but they can compete with the military. So I think if Daniel doesn't take early losses, fall behind early this game, this could be a really good matchup for him. But Daniel's always been kind of a streaky player. Like he's been playing competitively at this level for a lot longer than Andy has. But he's always shown glimpses of potential and then let down some of the people chanting USA, USA, USA. And maybe it's unfair to say let down, but you know, people have been hyped about this guy and thought that he would be consistently top 16. And he, like many others now, you know, he's working a job, he's living life, he's not playing the game as actively. He can play very well, and then sometimes he just doesn't quite have it. So consistency is kind of the toughest task, and that's what Daniel struggled with. Now, I think this type of map should be pretty good for Daniel against Andy. The more land on the map, the better for him. But nice build here for Andy so far. He should be able to get some fishing ships out and have pretty good eco. Now, will Daniel dock, though? This might be a game where it opens almost like a hybrid map, and Daniel also docks, and so both players dock in the Dark Age. Persians have the eco to justify that, but you'd expect that like Byzantines would kind of like that type of situation as well. And I would hope at this stage that Daniel's done his homework. But we'll see. Another thing to remember, though, is like these are top picks from both of them. And if Andy loses today, he still has wins in the bank. He already has 2 wins. Daniel got swept in his first round. But I do think there should be an asterisk on that because Daniel got swept by Hart. Daniel was playing very good. And odds are, like, okay, it's early. It's still super early, so naturally this comes off a bit bold. I think Hart's my favorite to win the group. Now, I should wait, and I should make my statement after Hart and Viper play next round. But Viper lost 2 games against Dark in the first round. He was not really super sharp. And he said something along the lines of, if I lose to Hart in the second round, I might really need to train. You know? I'm just not seeing, like... not seeing a worried Viper. I'm not seeing a super well-prepared or motivated Viper right now. And I think Hart is super motivated and will feel like there's no better opportunity for me to get a lead to potentially win the group than to beat Viper tomorrow. So that'll be a really good series. But Viper has never not been first in a group before. He's one of 3 champions that have won Titans League. Vinch winning the first season, Viper winning the second, Hera winning the third. Obviously, Viper, a really big favorite. As we see 4 fishing ships from Andy. Wow. So 4 fishing ships from Andy. Both players click up. Daniel didn't add a fishing ship in Dark Age. This is a bit of a different build. Now, will they go to gold? Because now they both docked. In other instances... you just have one player dock, and then one guy fishes away, and there's no threat. And then the other guy goes scouts and spears. Daniel's going to gold. Now, the other thing is, too, is like, how much do you commit to this? Do you even build a mining camp? That mining camp feels so expensive. But that means you could make 2 fires. I think what he's going to do is just walk back and forth, get enough gold to make 2 fire ships, and then stop there. And Andy is doing a similar thing. We'll walk back and forth with those vills. Andy building a barracks, so this should probably be scouts, spears, skirms, anything of the sort. And they're pretty close together here. But look at the eco from Andy. It's been a super smooth build. His build order of going to the straggler trees at the start and getting to wood a little bit earlier got him all those fish out. And there's less than 100 salmon now in the middle. So these fish are just going to be gone. And so they'd really just be fighting over shorefish. So it's not like... It's not the most efficient, but it is still something. It's funny, they both are trying the same thing right now. Both want to make 2 fire galleys. So very similar approach there. Daniel now sees there's a stable from Andy. And Andy sees there's a barracks from Daniel. So great scouting so far, pretty sharp from both. And now it's all about the execution. I would expect that Daniel's going to be pretty comfortable fighting with fire galleys in the middle. His fire galley... Oh, he's repairing the fishing ship. And his fire galley will pop out. So there, Daniel, that's a really good moment for him. Keeps his fishing ship alive. Now, how important is that? I don't know. Andy's now putting his fishing ship in the middle to block. Daniel's now putting his fishing ship in the middle to block. Just nerdy moments here in the middle. And Andy also moved away with his scout. Now his second fire comes out. Now Daniel's going to do the same. But they can't repair anymore because they don't have gold. And so Daniel is just, okay, sacrifices his fish. No gold to repair. And it's going to be the same for Andy. And I think in the end, they both lose all their fish. I would imagine that that's the case here. Fire galleys on the way here from Daniel. Andy doesn't have gold to repair. He's going to try. As long as Daniel doesn't make a mistake here, that fire galley's dead and so are the fish. You just have to kill that fire before repairs come in, I think. But you also have to look at this. You also have to have spears around. You also need to snag eco upgrades. There's a lot to look at right now. And I think now it just should be a full reset, and neither player really has anything to really work with on water, I think. So farms are just now coming up from Andy. He's the one who actually has scouts, though, and he's got 5 scouts around, so that could really do some damage. Daniel is kind of walling in around his woodline right now. And you could tell he maybe is a little bit concerned. He's bringing some spears this way, so he's thinking about where he's vulnerable. On water, by the way, Andy keeps that one fishing ship alive, so there is that. Daniel needs to react here. Andy came to the best possible position, and he grouped his units pretty perfectly at the start. Did kind of fall apart for him a little bit here, but if he gets 2 villas, he'll be happy. That could have been more, actually, but the spears come around, and 2 villager kills happen there for Andy. And Persian win rate has been really good on this map because of their start and how smooth the transitions are. But the farms are just now coming up from Andy, and the way he placed them isn't ideal. You really want your villagers going to each individual farm right away. And Daniel will end up losing water. I think water's like a false sense of victory now, though. I'd be very surprised if we see fish traps in the middle. So we talked about this, like Persian should have the eco, Persian should have the control. But if the game is somewhat close, once you reach Castle Age, that's where Byzantines really start to shine. And Daniel keeping a close eye on things with that scout. I think right now what he's vulnerable to is an archer switch or a tower behind the wood line. He's not so vulnerable elsewhere right now. That's a lot of weak scouts in there. That's 80 HP on possible 225. Those scouts are weak, man. Andy's probably already thinking about how quickly he could make monks so he could heal them up. Market now from Andy, which is interesting. It tells me he wants to rush to Castle Age by maybe selling some stone. And Daniel, he doesn't see any activity outside. He adds the range for some archers. It just feels like a natural play for him to have a couple archers on the field. And it's also a very natural play for Daniel as we see the scouts go down there. But this is like so typical for both of them. Daniel goes for the military numbers. Daniel goes for, the military civ. Andy goes for the eco civ. And then Andy drops the market super early. This is just the difference. Like, Daniel's always going to want to nerd out with feudal age armies. And Andy wants to skip feudal age as quickly as possible. So, close game. Resources should rise for Daniel to click up here. I mean, he's got quite a few vills in queue, so he could click up faster than the resources there suggest. But this is like a pretty inconsequential army. This army shouldn't accomplish a ton. We'll see what it does. Daniel just walking forward like an AI. Looking for a task, and we'll see if he finds it. Daniel clicks up, drops the stable. I think that's what you should make here. Archers are just... I mean, it's maybe to bait your opponent into some skirms, maybe to snipe a spearman or two, but really, in this matchup, it usually turns into playing into camels against the Persians. And what is Andy's plan here? Like, Andy's plan genuinely feels like 3 TC boom right now. He's banking up a lot of wood without building an archer range. Oh, there's an archer range there? Well, maybe he will go siege push. Here's Daniel. I mean, classic Daniel. He wants to get as much value as he can with as little as possible. This is actually kind of nice, though. It takes Andy off of gold. Andy might have to respect the threat that there could be more coming. That's really good value from that army. And Andy, he has the market. I'm sure he'll buy and sell things to be able to get more gold, but he can't really do a lot on that gold right now. He's also getting pushed out of this area just by that one spearman and the one archer, so... I like what the archers have done for Daniel here. Even just controlling this area is very good. I think Andy wanted a siege workshop. Now, Andy will drop a TC. Now, that's a really good town center, if you ask me. It protects the opposite side of the wood line, and it gives you access to gold when you can't take this gold. And so the economy's there for FreakinAndy. But FreakinAndy fans, what do you call them? FreakinFandies? The FreakinFandies are going to recognize the concern that sometimes he overbooms a little bit. Like, the no army control could be a problem. Yeah, the FreakinFandies are freaking out. I don't know. You know what's so cool? So FreakinAndy has a brother named Chris, and his username is FreakinChris. And Chris is a solid player. Shout out to Chris. I don't know if Chris is out there watching. Chris is a solid player. He's not at this level. But they played team games and deathmatch and whatnot together. I've known them both for a long, long time. But I think it'd be really cool. Not only would it be a cool story of two brothers who are at the very top, but it'd also be really cool if they were like two freakins, you know? It'd be pretty freaking awesome. They're a freaking family, yeah. Just typical Andy. Typical Andy, booming away, 2 TCs. But Daniel's got the camels. Daniel drops TC number 2. Daniel's eco upgrades are looking solid. Also, extra vision from Byzantines is going to be very helpful if there's going to be any surprises. And here come the camels in towards the gold, and Andy goes back to the gold, but he doesn't have protection. And he'll fight back here. But, I mean, dude, Daniel's going to love that. Yeah, eventually you could kill the camels. But this is really good for Daniel. You won't feel as bad about not having to fish. You won't feel as bad about being up against Persians now. Snipes 3 villagers there. And Daniel will also be able to escape here. The Byzantine camels are just so cheap, dude. They're so easy to produce. There's so many of them right now. And something Andy likes to rely on is monks. But Persian monks aren't the strongest monks you could have. So they could also get sniped by the camels eventually. Now, what is Daniel's play, though? Like, do you boom 3 TCs? Do you go for a push on this TC, maybe? Pushing a Persian TC is so difficult to justify. Andy does have a monk. Andy does have spears. Daniel probably needs to respect that. And no conversion there from the monk. Close game, guys. Really close game. Oh my god. Scout comes out of nowhere from Daniel. He could actually get the... Oh, he thought about it. He thought about it. He almost went in there. Scout will get away. And a second monastery. Wow, from FreakinAndy. He can't help himself. But Persians are not a great monk civ. So you invest into too many monks, that could be a problem. If anything, I would like pikemen. And Daniel tried to get to the other side of that villager to block there. Tries the same here. Andy under more pressure from camels. Who said camels can't raid, guys? Daniel's going to raid with camels. I like it, though. Forces some idle time. It's keeping the initiative. That's what Daniel wants. Bit of a counterattack here from Andy to sneak into the wood line, but Daniel was prepared to deal with that. House walls it. Has monks around, has camels around, and still has these camels. Yeah, it feels like pikemen could be really strong. Also feels like a castle in the middle here is huge in this game. Like this position, a castle from either player could really decide the game. That's where both of them have committed a lot of their eco for the time being. Devotion now from Andy, knowing how important monks can be, but the camels engage here, and that's a full clear up for Daniel. And Daniel's monks will back away. Daniel now needs to back away. He's actually getting atonement now, so he can convert the monks. Now, can someone tell me if Persians get atonement? I can tell me that. Persians don't. Yeah, Persian monks are just genuinely awful. Like, Andy committing to this many monks with Persians, it's not quite as bad, but it's like a step or two up from going like heavy spearmen with Turks or Gujaras. The thing about monks, though, is they still give you way more value than the things I just mentioned. They still can get conversions. They still can heal. But now that atonement's in, like, Daniel's found the answer to these monks. Also, hilarious to me that Andy actually couldn't help himself and decided to build a fish trap there. I really don't think that that was worth it. But he can't help himself. Daniel's behind economically, but Daniel's got really nice army going, and he knows! He's like, I'll just out-monk you! Look at him, 3 monasteries now. And anything that can kill monks from the Persians dies to camels, right? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yo, Daniel, get off the shoreline, bro. Get off the shoreline. Get off the beach. Get off the beach. You don't have sanctity. Sanctity is the sunblock of the monk world. You gotta make sure you get sanctity on the beach. Okay. That's fine. Demo didn't do any damage. Big attack could happen. You'd expect Andy to get more conversions than Daniel in a normal situation. Monks aren't being locked in here by Daniel. He's locked on to the camels instead. And Andy's got a lot more camels here. And Daniel's getting completely overwhelmed. This camel production's insane from Andy. And his monks got the conversions he would have wanted. And he's snowballing it right where he would have wanted. Oh, Daniel maybe looked back home economically. Maybe didn't expect Andy to have all these camels. I didn't expect Andy to have all these camels. He's also mixed in spears. And this would be the moment, man, for Andy to push forward and drop a castle. Andy just shot up out of nowhere with the military numbers. He had like 6 camels. He went into that fight with 16. Now Daniel needs... I mean, he needs his own camels, but he needs to get rid of the monks first. He will do that. But he'll still lose a lot of monks in the process. Also, devotion is paid off here for Andy, I would say. Daniel really in need of some gold right now. I'm noticing his gold count isn't great. He just sold wood to get more of it. And here comes a castle. Oh, man, if this castle goes up, Daniel will have big problems. Daniel knows that. Daniel's dropping a tower in a panic to try and deny it. And another tower. But the camels and the monks are still here from Andy. Andy's got a 15 eco lead. Andy's got siege coming in behind. He's added scouts for the monks. He'll kill them. I think, like, even if you deny this castle, this is still a good situation for Andy. He's got more eco. He's got more army. The idle time's insane for Daniel. Things have just completely fallen apart here. Andy is still getting conversions with Persian monks. And honestly, the monks can heal the vills. Watch. Like, as the tower's hitting the vills go back and they just get healed up. This castle's going up. This is Andy's game. Yeah, it's not enough. The vills will still regen, and more vills could just pump out of those TCs to come forward. It was desperation from Daniel. And now that castle will shoot the towers down, and FreakinAndy gets the job done. Look at the amount of army made here this game. Look at that. 20 monks from Daniel. And how many conversions? What was the conversion situation here? Let's see. Conversions. Daniel got 8 conversions. So he leans heavier into the monks. On paper, I really like it because you can convert the enemy monks and convert the enemy camels. But you have to get the conversions. If you mess up once there and you use like 10 monks to convert 1 unit, that's a complete waste. And, I mean, clearly Andy just had better management of that. I actually want to go back. I want to look at the situation where I thought Daniel had the lead. Okay, like right here. It's 12 camels and 2 monks against 6 camels and 6 monks. And Atonement's already in. Like, where did things go wrong here for Daniel? Okay, so he gets up to... Well, honestly, it's just the timing of it. He's got more monks in queue. Clearly, this fight wasn't very good. But I think if Daniel... So let's look at it on paper. He's got 6 monks against 6 monks. Camel number's 12. Yeah, it's like whenever the fight started, it felt like Daniel was out of position, right? The monks were on the front line waving their book. They're flapping their book at the enemy. So they're just going to die. And then what you want is you want to convert the enemy monks, not the camels. And look at Andy's conversions there. Andy locks on to a ton of different units, and that snowballs it. Yeah. Like, Andy converts 6 camels. Daniel maybe converts 1 or 2. And then all these monks survive, and Daniel loses his whole snowball. Yeah, I mean, that was it. That whole fight was just disastrous for Daniel. I actually think the game was fine. Like, being behind in Vills and everything is fine. I like the idea from Daniel to go for the monks. He just needed... He was surprised by that engagement. He needed a better engagement there. So sometimes one engagement can really decide it. Now, Andy also had great eco that whole game. He was very patient. That's his style. And he was going to go up to 5 TCs. Well played. So, Daniel still remains without a victory. FreakinAndy playing well in TTL so far. Gets his 3rd. And we'll move on to Daniel's home map now. So here we are, game number 2. We got Daniel looking for a win. Again, he's 0-4 right now. Daniel needs wins. This is his home map. There's no better opportunity. He's playing as the Vietnamese. And then we have the Hindustanis here for Andy. So Hindustani's kind of similar to what we saw from Persians in the previous game. Usually a civilization that's a bit more aggressive with the scouts and then defensive in Castle Age, playing through camels. So I would expect camels and TCs. Now, Vietnamese fits the Cav Archer meta quite well. So I've seen a lot of camels and I've seen a lot of Cav Archers on this map. But I think if you're up against Hindustanis, Daniel might actually want to go crossbow. Because if you play Cav Archer, Hindustani camels could be decent there. Whereas with crossbow, you can pretty much abuse the fact that the opponent can't make knights. Oh! I was wondering why Andy was going 5 on wood. Guys, there is a total of 800 food on this map, okay? There's 400 here, and there's 400 here. Oh, sorry, not like total food, but fish. And yet Andy is docking anyways. Andy is docking this tiny little freaking pond, and he will add fishing ships, and his plan in Feudal Age is to add fish traps there. So this is his Black Forest experience coming out. I've had someone do this before. It was Samaro in Gold League. Samaro went full walls, though, and he kind of he built a bunch of docks on these ponds to try it. He tried it every single time, and it never worked. But Samaro, shout out to you. He was the OG with this. That's crazy. And Daniel's doing more of the usual thing, where you just place a mill there to get the 400 food very fast. But, yeah, I mean, it's a forward dock. It's not sneaky. We'll see how good the build can be otherwise, but FreakinAndy doesn't even seem to care about his goats either. Didn't find these 2. Maybe he thought they were stolen. Maybe he miscounted. So how long does it even take 2 fishing ships to take 400 food? It takes a while. So you have them working for a while. So by the time you're in Feudal Age, then you could add the trap. So it's not like... I think worst case scenario would be if these were just sitting here and you couldn't make a fish trap. But because it takes so long to eat that with fish, the timing's all right, I guess. But yeah, that's not a pond. That's a puddle. That's not even a puddle. That's like a... Well, no, it's probably a puddle. Andy will click up to Feudal Age a little bit later than Daniel. Does have more eco workers, though, which is the aspect of adding the fish. His villagers can just be off doing everything else. And Daniel's Vietnamese, so he knows where his opponent is. And I bet you he's going to see the puddle. Now, funny thing is, Daniel's kind of getting a bit of a reputation in ranked games for doing this on Arabia. He did this against Viper a couple times. And so Daniel knows what this is all about. And Daniel's not happy about it. So wait, Daniel can protect the fish. These two fish are on the shoreline. So Andy can't actually take them if the scout is there. That's so funny. Oh, somehow the scout can't hit that. Oh, no, never mind. It can. I mean, I can't be convinced that this is very good. It might work, but this just can't be good, right? Like, what are you doing, Andy? Dude, you're Hindustanis. You got cheap vills. Like, don't take risks like this. If he makes a fire galley in here to defend fish, I'm going to lose my mind. Daniel's fast feudal. He's just still camping here. Looks like the fishing ships have found a spot where they can collect res. Oh, and now Andy comes back. Andy's not feudal yet, but now he is. So he gets a decent hit there. Behind this, we have a stable from Daniel. Vietnamese have very cheap and faster researching eco upgrades. So here comes Daniel now. Good eco upgrades. Good scout production coming behind this. And yeah, Daniel's going to switch very fast army here. The fact that he's going to gold right now tells me this would be a very fast archer range. Still no fish traps for those fish, but there's 250 food left. And Daniel just can't... He cannot help himself. He needs to kill that dude. He's so bothered by it. It would bother me too. Like, I wouldn't be able to look anywhere else. Maybe that's part of the strategy here. Is you are hoping your opponent invests everything into stopping this instead of hitting other areas of your base. Daniel's range is up already. Still hasn't added a farm. His food eco is going to be really rough. Obviously still had... He didn't take the berries yet either. I mean, whew. So we won't see many more scouts from him. Here FreakinAndy is walled. Here FreakinAndy probably will be walled. And scouts are moving forward from Andy. I'll keep an eye on the fish traps to see if we see that. Daniel almost needs his archers protected by spearmen right now. If he were to advance forward with one archer, that would just be sniped most likely. So he really needs the spears. Like, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but sometimes players are just too aggressive. And the bigger the moment, the more aggressive they can be. You could see this with Daniel. He's like, I need everything. I need hyper-aggression. And so what you lack then is like a solid flow to your eco. I don't think you need to look at this and be worried about it. At most, that's probably just two fish traps that are rangeable by your cav archers in Castle Age. But Daniel wants to kill that now. And so here he goes. It's a really fun stylistic matchup. These two. Like, Daniel the aggressor, Andy more of the boomer. And Andy will have his walls down. Good farming eco, so he won't be lacking there. Still no fish traps. Has a range, just in time to maybe defend from some archers, but like, I think Daniel's going to snipe those fishing ships. Andy, he has not even been in Daniel's base with those scouts. It's just like the difference between the two. And there are the archers. The spearmen should be the target first. But yeah, Daniel's like, I'm just going to kill your fish, bro. I'm not going to let you do this. Again, it would be so funny if Andy ends up making a fire galley or something here to defend, but it's just going to lose his fish. So, fish boom dream is dead. Those are our first two kills of the game, actually. And Daniel will probably be feeling a lot better about that. Scouts will come through. Scouts will run immediately into the spear. Hello? Just passing? and just dying. And, oh, there was a hole there, apparently. Daniel would have loved to run right through there. This is funny. Andy found one of the goats, and then the other goat is over here looking at his friend like, no, come back. No. Oh, oh my goodness. It just had to witness that. Maybe he couldn't see over the wall. Oh, and now he's walking away sad. Well, who could blame him? Crazy pressure from Daniel. Again, he hasn't found a win yet. He needs a win. Needs 2 wins, probably. FreakinAndy, this patience here. He loops around with these counter units, and Daniel has no clue that army's there. He's not expecting an army like that. He thinks that Andy's not making that much army. And now there's skirms here. There's also some spears. This is very difficult for Daniel to micro now. But let's see if he can get away from this. He's still not being attacked at home. His eco's looking pretty smooth. He does still have more archers at home. Oh. Actually didn't expect an engagement to happen this soon. It's not the prettiest situation ever. Like, Andy's lost some spears, but he just wants these archer kills. And I think he's going to get that. Yeah, this is still very good for Andy. We'll kill off these archers. Now, I think the reason Daniel is making so many archers is because he doesn't want to go cav archer long-term against a civ that has such good camels. I think normally he would have been happy to just go scouts and adapt and play into cav archers with Vietnamese, but not against Hindustanis. And Daniel's still looking to sneak out with these archers to get some damage. Very interesting now. Andy's actually running out of wood in where he walled, and so he's sneaking outside of his base. And Daniel hasn't... He's going to try and hit this wood line, I think. From what Andy just saw, Andy's going to see that range with the flag on it, and he's expecting all the army's going to be camping there. It's pretty wild for someone to move out after they lose their army like that. And Daniel's got to be on point here not to overchop, because the scouts could come through. Here as well, he needs to be careful not to overchop, but there go the archers for Daniel. And so, like, what's the path Daniel takes here with these archers? That like, decides so much right now. I think he wants to show up behind this wood line and kill stuff. And if he's going to be super sneaky, he might go along the edge of the map. Look at Andy patrolling skirms as well, just in case. Disrupting the wood line here, disrupting the wood line here. Does see those archers from Daniel now. Daniel's going 2 stables here. Wow. I'm not a big fan of either player's eco right now. I don't think it's that smooth. Daniel's army is just patrolling out of sight of those skirms. They don't see each other there. That's crazy. It's a smart positioning from Andy, though, because that is obviously very exposed. If you're going to have an army waiting, you got to wait here. Daniel will go Knight's Crossbow. That's his plan. He won't be able to afford a lot, but he can get Crossbow Bodkin. Oh, did Andy see that? Ooh, I don't think he did, and I think Daniel might have spotted those. Daniel will get Crossbow and Bodkin. More archers are headed forward, and then he'll make a knight or two to push back any skirms. Andy saw the stables. So Andy, he's only seen like 2 to 3 archers over the last few minutes. So he's not expecting that bigger group because that other group's been in the darkness here. So he thinks he can play camel and be fine. He might not even need the skirms. Him seeing the stable was great, but it kind of tricks him to himself right now. In the middle, Daniel's got an army, but now this army, guys. This army's key. But Daniel doesn't know to go there. He doesn't know to go there. He has no clue. It's just such a crazy thing, right? Still, that combo could be key. This is still a really good fight for Daniel. Daniel will kill the scout. Daniel will kill the camel. And he drops TC number 2. I don't love either player's wood economy. The wood economy for Daniel could be so much better. I think with a lumber camp here, it's good. But that's kind of the point of Kilimanjaro. How crucial is it, though, that Daniel doesn't know that Andy's sneaking over here. Andy's going to build a sneak TC somewhere. There's still a hole from when Andy left before, so we see house walls now. But Andy has a bit of time to get elite skirm, so that combination could be good, but he still doesn't even have fletching, right? These crossbows are still terrifying to deal with. And Daniel drops TC number 3. Again, none of these TC locations really give him access to wood. He really needs to lumber camp on these trees. And Daniel's got to be so confused. It's probably like, where is he right now? Look at this. He saw the lumber camp. He's like, where did those vills go? Oh, man. And now Andy, counterattack, counterattack. Go find Daniel's TC. Daniel, no defense. Man, it's just like Andy's so good at keeping vills alive. And Daniel gets hit with the counterattack. Great play from Andy. Denies the TC. Snipes quite a few villagers there. Still, the crossbows are sniping farms. Still, this is not a clean eco for FreakinAndy at all. I mean, this is still a better position for Daniel, I think. But that's what Andy needed. He needed a little bit of momentum. Daniel, I think, thought about diving through there for a second. He's got 6 knights and 12 crossbows. That's a much stronger army than anything FreakinAndy has. If FreakinAndy's going to go for +2 right now. +2 for 6 camels, and then his skirms don't even have Bod Canero yet. Daniel has no clue that Andy is in the north right now. None. He did look for a second. He didn't see anything, but that is safe eco for Andy right now. And there is the TC for Daniel. Should protect this position. Andy realizes. And Daniel back to work, and now Daniel breaking in here. And Andy doesn't have much, guys. Man, I saw it in the previous game. Like, Andy relies on the market so heavily. Look at his eco balance right now. Like, he's got so much on gold, and he's just going to be buying food. Daniel has good food eco. His resources are pretty well balanced across the board. Like, that, even though Daniel didn't end up running in there, that did a lot of damage to Andy's eco. But what a close game. Daniel should run in there. Doesn't know that army's advancing forward, so he could be trapped. He doesn't trust himself to run in. Here, that's a big army from FreakinAndy. It's a big army that could still get better, too. Oh, God, don't trap yourself, Daniel. Oh, disaster for Daniel! It's just like the previous game. It's the worst possible fight he could have taken. The knights get hit by the camels, the crossbows get hit by the skirms, and that's a full clear for Andy. And it's such a shame, because if Daniel was... If he just had an extra minute to cook here, he's 3 TCs, his eco setup's actually superior, he could deal with that. But now he's going to be trying to recover. And TC number 3 goes up there from FreakinAndy. So funny, we look at that, we're like, oh, what a mistake, right? There's so much to manage, guys. There's so much to manage, and Kilimanjaro is so annoying to play. Daniel thinking through his options of what he can make right now. But, I mean, I'm still not in love with Andy's military situation. I know he's got camel skirm, but these are skirms that don't have bodkin. The only reason he took a good fight there was because Daniel was out of position. Andy's got some catching up to do as far as upgrades are concerned. And you always assume you have the upgrades at this point in time, I believe. So Daniel's in an okay position here. He's also on stone to eventually build a castle. We have ourselves a close game. Now, normally what I talk about in this map is fighting for this hill. This hill is everything. We're just now getting to that point. Real quick, Paddlefoot, Filthy Hippie, Chief, Joke, Giant, thank you guys so much. I'm so sorry I've been casting the games. I know it's horrible. Thank you for the subs, guys. It's really motivating. What the... Really motivating to have this much support so far. So thank you to everyone who's chipped in. So this is interesting that Daniel's mixing in his own skirms. I don't hate it, though, because your skirms are better than the Hindustani skirms, right? Now, I don't know where those knights are going. That position's rough. But I think a mix of crossbow and skirm could be really nice here. Plus, with the occasional knight, you're in a pretty good position. There's a random spearman being chased by villagers right now. And of course, Daniel's microing that. That's hilarious. He can't help himself. will probably die. But in the main fight, Andy's losing all of his skirms, guys. He just lost everything. So now he will be on full camel. And if Daniel could stay on crossbow, this combination is terrifying. Ballistics is on the way for Daniel. What a great recovery. Again, that fight that he took before was not pretty. But apart from that, he's been dominating this game. His eco balance has been superior. His upgrades are going to be superior. But I think this is where Daniel can struggle to calm down. You have to hold the hill. You need some patience here. Patience, control the long term. His knights and his crossbows kind of get separated from each other. And there's not many crossbows in this group. There's like 5 or 6 skirms in there. There's only 10 crossbows. And so this is the worry for Daniel. That's a nice little spot to sit in. That's actually really nice. But you really just have to hold the hill right now if you're Daniel. This is a good fight for Andy. He'll clear that. And here, Andy adds enough skirms to deal with the army that's kind of wedged in there. So it's like Daniel just needs to conserve that army mass. I think having patience is something that, well, Daniel doesn't have a lot of patience. When he's impressive, it's because you just see aggression all the time. So now before, I loved the mix of skirms and I loved the mix of camels, but now like you don't have a meat shield anymore, and the crossbow count's still not really that crazy. Daniel will hit and run these camels down. I'm sure he'll get the kills eventually, but that's actually a really nice engagement for Andy. And Andy was... Wow, he had 3 choices there. He started to build a castle here. Then he wanted to place the castle here. And now he decides for a safer castle because he's not exactly winning the fight. Oh, man, and Daniel's going to see that. But I don't know if... Can Daniel deny this? He'll try to. It feels like there's just enough army from Daniel... But no, there's just enough from Andy. He'll have to sacrifice some units here. This is actually really good micro. Good patience. Yeah, he just bought himself enough time to get that castle up. That's a great castle from Andy. If he placed his original castle, this becomes a very different situation. And now you can make ghoulems. And ghoulems are amazing against range units. Daniel needs a castle right in front of this TC. He has to protect this TC before this gets worse. And even then, this could become a big problem. You could tell Daniel's panicking. He'll make some spears. He'll make some knights. But he needs a castle here before his opponent gets his siege push going. I think you just got to buy the stone. Like, look how immediate that siege workshop and the mangonels were from Andy. Like, this castle, the second your opponent knows about this TC, you need a castle here. I like the counterattack because we know Andy's in the middle. Daniel's going to click Imp. Daniel will find a whole bunch of villager kills here. There is Daniel's castle. Andy will drop his own castle. Andy's siege actually started to go to the left, so he wasn't in the right position. And Andy doesn't see the raid. Andy doesn't see the raid. Andy sees the castle, though. And he's got a lot of camels, and I don't know if Daniel will be able to complete this castle. In fact, I think Daniel loses the TC. I don't think this TC stays up. The castle's at 50%. He will not complete that. And best of luck to Daniel. He'll have camels. He'll have ghoulems. There would be so much army running through his base. This is going to be, like, impossible. How are you supposed to control all of that? This army is wishing it would be back home right now. Daniel's sneakily trying to complete that. That castle's so important. He's getting destroyed here. But Andy sees it, guys. He knows that Daniel's trying to sneak that up. Oh, man, what a slaughter here. 30 units killed by these camels. And Daniel will not complete this castle. The ranged army is going to struggle to run back home. And the ghoulems are going to hunt it down. I think this is Andy's game. Good patience from Andy. A lack of patience at times from Daniel. You could see the quality. You could see the qualities there. But when he gets to those winning positions, just forces the issue a little too early. That's always been a part of Danny. He's like, I'm going to kill you fast and we're going to go next. But at this level, you've got to take tiny little advantages and make that last for you long term. Daniel, did he even delete what was left from there? I don't know if he... Oh, no, he must have because he's building this castle. Vil counts even. He will be up to imp. Daniel can still win this game. Now, he just lost all of his army, which is brutal. But he takes out the mangonels. He could make trebs. Double castle from Andy, though. I think Andy should stay in Castle Age. And just make more Ghoulems. Like, I don't know what Daniel's really going to make beyond Ratans and Trebs. So stay in Castle Age. Try and raid with Ghoulems as much as possible. And anytime a Treb comes out, you hope to snipe it. Oh, man. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, this... Good luck stopping Ghoulem raids here if you're Daniel. Daniel wants to push the middle hill. We might see him drop a castle here in a second. Here comes Andy. Dude, that's a forward castle that will not be stopped. And there's villagers everywhere. They will die. Oh, man. But now Daniel can take down all the castles from Andy in the middle. Daniel's going to lose a lot of vills here, guys. But maybe if he can get Bracer and make Ratans, and his opponent can't make Ghoulems anymore because they lose the castles. Oh, man, this is a crazy game. Daniel does have some knights. He does have the TCs. He did have some pikes. Like, this is somewhat manageable. Andy is going to lose these castles. I don't know if he can dive underneath these. The only thing you can justify making now if you're Daniel is rats and archers, in my opinion. Like, your other production buildings are just camped. And you have the castles. I think it's got to be Ratans and Trebs. Andy will repair to buy time. He's killed 57, making 58 vills. He still has Ghoulems to raid. There's still vills inside this TC. Yeah, this is all still, like, so bad for Daniel. But look at that. He's like, I'll kill you. And back inside. Andy is no stone. Bro. Guys, props to Andy for this aggression. Props to Daniel for not losing more. And for staying in this game. Andy's 3 minutes away from Imp. He really doesn't want to let these villagers escape. But Daniel could maybe produce enough knights to hold here. These castles are going to go down. Like, let's look at Andy's perspective here. Okay, he just noticed this stone, so he's going to drop a TC there. But, like, he's out of gold over here. He doesn't have any gold or stone in the middle. Maybe he'll try and take some of that. I don't think Andy can actually get the Ghoulem numbers. Now, I don't know if Daniel's going to think about it that way. But I think the second these castles are down, you can go full Ratans. And Ratans can be really strong if Ghoulems aren't out. There will only be one castle to produce them from. Daniel's been hoping to find a moment to flee with these vills for a long time. This is his moment. He'll lose many of them. But he'll also save more than he would have otherwise. And Andy loses both those castles, and now Daniel's making rats and archers. We have ourselves a game. We have ourselves a game. I thought it was over. I mean, rats and archers produce very quickly because you get conscription. Ballistics is already in. Like, Andy's losing his army here. We now have 4 trebs from Daniel. He's moving his way towards the hill. He obviously wants to take out this castle. Daniel's knights and his garrisons and whatever else has kept him in this. Look how many Ratans there are already. There's already 8. So, and Andy is like no golds, guys. He's looking. He'll probably find some around the map. Now he's finding stone. He's about to have like more on stone than any other resource. What a hold from Daniel. Crazy stuff. For someone to lose 69 vills and then say nice hold is pretty wild, but he's always been producing more. And this is what Daniel wants now. He wants to be able to kill as many vills as possible with these Ratans. And to take this castle. Down will go Andy's castle. He'll have no castles. He can't make trebs without castles. Okay, there will be another one. Seems like Daniel's really happy with knights as well. So he's continually producing knights. Now, I think Daniel will run out of gold. He's been mining these golds for a while. There's only 200 gold left. It feels natural that he would have to move as well soon. But he does have the middle. And down goes the castle from Andy. Found this gold. Has tons of stone now. And Andy will go for a bit of a raid. These are not elite Ghoulems, right? So these are still just the same old Castle Age Ghoulems. And the Knights and the TC Fire is decent enough. Rats and Archers make it through. I think Daniel keeps telling himself, stop throwing army away. And as I say that, he throws army away. But, like, I think he wanted to raid there, and he keeps reminding himself he needs to just conserve the middle and keep his numbers up right now. But he has no clue. No clue about any of this. He did just run out of gold, though. He does still have the golds towards the middle. He could soon build a third castle there. And he's about to take down another Andy castle. Andy will make bombard cannons, but this will take time. Luckily for Andy, he has 2,000 stone. So I think he can repair for a while. That's so much stone, dude. But he's at the bottom of a hill against 4 trebs. The castle will fall before conscription completes as well. Wow. Now he's just casually dropping another castle here. Look at all this economy here for the taking for Andy with, like, no protection. Look at all the trees being chopped. Of course, we have Camel now from Andy. That's great because he's seeing Cavalier from his opponent. Great raids here. He'll probably send the occasional Ghoulam in down here as well. Oh, man, this is an absolute mess. What a game. Cavalier could be sick, though. Like, if Daniel just attacks with everything he has right now, I think he wins the game. Right here. There's just too much exposed for Andy for him to save all of this. And I don't think he can just, like, add 50 more farms again. It does say he has 80 on food or something. But how much of that is here? Raids on the side here from Andy are doing something. Daniel's just stopped making rats and archers, by the way. I still think that's a big key. And another castle from Andy. How many villagers have to be slaughtered for this castle to complete? But it is important, and it will complete for now. Now Daniel's bringing his trebs, though, to go and treb that down. Thing is, Andy's just getting to heavy camel. So Hindustanis against Cav is crazy. Will there be enough defense here from Andy? Outposting from Daniel now. He has to know that Andy is over here, that Andy's in different spots. He's also being raided from the sides. Like, he's well aware that that's a problem over there. He needs to get over there. Again, from Daniel's perspective, I think you just still need to hold the hill. Everything's about holding the hill. And keep those trebs alive. Look how many vills hopped out of that castle. I don't know if Andy has enough. Daniel's come back from the dead. And Andy's pop, it might be high, but it's not going to be high for much longer, man. I don't know. Maybe the camels clear that up. Maybe some of those vills survive, but these vills will go down now. They're idle, and they've got nowhere to go right now, these villagers for Andy. Oh, man, there's vills from Andy here getting raided. Daniel clearly noticed all these different areas. A castle now. A castle now from Daniel. Andy wants to come back to the hill. His base is lighting up like a Christmas tree. And he still has 150 vills. Andy will actually win this fight. He actually holds on in that area. What in the world? Where are these villagers going, bro? Oh, they're going to drop a castle there. Okay. Well, this game is madness. I should remind you, though, that, like, that having cheap vills is really valuable. Well, also, shout out to these trebs. These trebs have done 54k damage for Daniel. Protecting those trebs and using them in critical moments has been insane. I think now he's coming back to the middle, and he wants to treb this castle now. Man, Andy's built like 7 castles, and he only ever has 1 at the same time. It's just ridiculous. Like, look, he's building another one. He's going to be on 2. The trebs roll out. Daniel's getting halved now. He does have a few more trebuchets that are exposed. And, oh, dude, Andy, you're crazy, man. I guess when you're this rich with stone, you can consider it. But he did see the trebs. Daniel's like, please, halb upgrade. Come on, halbs, please. And Daniel's like, let me roll over here, see what he's got. Oh, look, another castle for me to treb. Don't mind if I do. Another castle will fall. I think Andy's cooked. I think he's in big trouble. His pop is really high. The game is really close according to the stats. But his villagers have not been working efficiently. And he's never been able to conserve his mass. You need castles defensively. Look at this castle from Daniel. Daniel's setting this up now. So if this becomes a raiding game, he will be good. This is super exposed for raids. This corner is now exposed for raids. And this corner is probably next. And Daniel is immediately running in here. He is also being raided over here. There's so many areas to look at. But I honestly, I don't love this castle. I would have liked the castle closer to the TC. But it's still fine for Daniel. I think. He's also mining more gold right now. And FreakinAndy will lose a bombard cannon. That's so expensive for a guy who only has 3 on gold. Guys, what an important hold and victory for Daniel, man. It looked like he threw it a little bit, right? But he comes back. It was crazy. I thought he was actually going to resign. Like, I think a lot of people would have resigned after their castle got denied, right? But he kept fighting. And it's not pretty, but he's in a bit of a groove now. He's built up into a position where I think it's too difficult to lose from. Final castle for Andy will go down. There have been twists. There have been turns. There have been raids. There have been idols. There have been laughs. There have been tears. This game has had everything. But Andy doesn't have a castle. He somehow has stone for one more castle. He somehow had 170 pop. Don't ask me how. Because everywhere I look, there's villagers exposed. I think it's just one of those situations where before you know it, his pop will be 100. It's all going to happen at once. Look at the idle time for both of them as well. 5 hours of idle time. Crazy. Here comes Andy. Can't help himself. We all know Andy's in love with castles. Here we go. Last castle he'll ever build. Daniel's down to 116 vills. Andy somehow has more vills. Look, what is happening, bro? It's the Trail of Tears for Andy. But Daniel has the trebs. He's going to have to pack up his trebs and go deal with this. I don't love this castle for Andy because he can't fight underneath his opponent's castles. But I don't know where else he could do it. He's still defending this. Yeah, Andy just taps out and calls the GG, dude. He's just losing vills everywhere. What a hold. What a game. Listen, sometimes the games are smooth and precise, and we kind of forget that there's maximum pressure on the players and that we're in a really important tournament. But occasionally the gloves come off. Things don't go according to plan for both. And it's an absolute grind. And it's an absolute fight. And you can see the nerves and see the pressure. And that's what this was. This was a banger. And for what it's worth, we've had a lot of bangers on Kilimanjaro because it's just not a map that really benefits good defensive play. You know, nickel and diming, this slight eco lead. Oh, he's got 5 more villagers and 1 more eco upgrade. He's going to win the game. Those types of conversations really shouldn't be happening a lot on this map, because of where you have to get wood and where you have to get gold and stone and everything else. So I think Daniel will clearly look at that and say in the future he's got to tweak a couple things in the mid game. I thought he had the better position most of the game and just kept losing his armies. But what a fight back, man. I mean, he was double castle on the hill from Andy. He lost the whole side of his base. At one point, it was 80 villagers killed for Andy and like 15 for Daniel. But getting to Imp, getting these 2 castles up, and going Cavalier was actually so good. You look at this stat, 91 Cavalier created in a game against Hindustanis, and you're probably like, you're stupid. Like, why would you do that? Well, you do that because you put the game state into a point where the opponent has to go Cavalier and skirms. And it was actually a really good call. They're also mobile and tanky to get raids too. I mean, the Cavalier were great. That was so good, dude. That was so good. KD's even, right? And 85,000 resources collected there from Daniel. I did want to check. So how many castles did Andy actually build? Is that on here? Total castles, 7. What was it? 3 was the most he had at one time? Am I correct on that? The 2 in the middle and then the 1 that was forward? I guess it's not as crazy as I thought. But still, I mean, it got to a point where he'd lose 2 castles and he'd build a castle. It was super funny, man. Oh, it's on the same page? It's literally there. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the stat's on screen and I'm stupid. Got it. This is always a fun stat to see. So 245 total villagers that game from Daniel and 244 total villagers from Andy. It tells you how crazy it was with the raids. So the theme in this set has been Andy the boomer, right? And Daniel the aggressor. And now we go game number 3. And we find ourselves on Shoals, the home map of FreakinAndy. Dravidians for Daniel. Dravidians, great. Water civilization. Of course, there's lots of water here. Some people will say they're great on land. Other people will say they suck on land. Just really depends on who you talk to. And then we have Italians for Andy. Look at this build from Andy. It's actually very similar to what we saw earlier today from, I think, Sebastian. So he doesn't take the first buffalo. And he chops the stragglers to just get a little bit more wood. You collect deer faster than buffalo, so you can do this and not be on food right away and still sustain villager production. And then have 5 on wood. Or 5 on food, sorry. And then get the lumber camp up, so. Just allows you to get there a little bit faster. When I'm casting Daniel, the games always happen right away, and I never have any downtime. I was kind of hoping to have a little bit of downtime to go pee. Because, you know, chat's always reminding me to hydrate and whatnot. So, this map is Shoals. We've got big gold areas to contest later on. The water's important. We've also got a very sexy sea tower. Yeah, chat, you're very funny. I'm going to step away for a second. All right? I'll be right back. We will follow Daniel's scout. And if I miss anything important, I promise you I will give 10 subs, okay? Like, if anything dies or anything of notable value that I wasn't here to touch on happens, I will make up for it. But I really need to step away. I'll be right back. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. All right. What'd I miss? Did I miss anything important? Looks like FreakinAndy had 4 seconds of TC idle time. So he might as well resign and call the GG at this point. Game over. Deer died, give 10 subs. I meant like military or economic units. That doesn't count. You know what I meant. It's all right. We're chilling. Now, I could tell you, and I got here at the perfect time, that Daniel will go fast Feudal. So, again, just a tiny detail here. If you dock here, and you're not underneath the sea tower, usually that's because you're going to build a second dock underneath the sea tower, just so your fishing ships can be safe then. Andy also didn't dock underneath the sea tower, so he's also going fast feudal. So we have fast feudal from both. So usually we've seen fast feudal from one player clashing against fast castle, but both players are going fast up here. And Daniel will go double lumber camp, go for some gold as well, I'm sure. And we'll have the same thing here for Andy. I have to say, Daniel's second lumber camp isn't my favorite. Would have preferred he take this wood line. Like, it's in the back of his base. It's a bigger wood line, but just kind of a small detail there. But you said if anything dies. That's true. That's true. I mean, who's getting scammed now if I actually gift subs? I feel like chat... And again, I gotta be a man of my word. Who knows? I'll think on it. Remind me after. It's been a good day. Support's been fun so far. Doofs is honestly, I always feel scammed. Well, that's always great to hear from one of my mods, bro. Well, I mean, you do work for free, basically, so that is kind of scammy. But you do it because you love the channel, right? Well, yeah, you are getting scammed, let's be honest. But thanks for the work anyways. We appreciate you here. Oh, wow, you ready for this? They're about to hit feudal at the same time. Bam! Wow, how did they hit feudal at the same time? Oh, Daniel also had 4 seconds of TC idle time. Coin flip! Player 2 always wins. No! Daniel loses his scout! Pain! Pain! Now, I don't know if he lost this, if he would have lost the scout fight anyways, but it looked like he ran back there when he saw the Vil, so that's great for Andy. Thank God that didn't happen in the Dark Age. I definitely would have had to gift some subs. So, this is funny, right? Like, I talk about the builds where you go 2 galleys, snipe the fish, and then add fish against fast castle. But now that they're both doing this, you kind of have to respect the other guy and just make galleys nonstop. Oh, wow. Daniel is also looking to sneak. So he, I think, wanted to walk through there. And obviously it's walled. So he's building a barracks here. Honestly, it's a very awkward situation for Daniel to push from because most of this wall is right next to water. So he might be thinking he could give up water and then go land. But I don't know if that's the case. Also, Andy is looking to scout the map. But he does not expect anything to be there. And he goes just passing. Wow. Yeah, so he's just going to scout the other side now. I don't really think this is going to do a lot for Daniel, in all honesty. I think this is... Man-at-Arms? Bro, he can't help himself. It's a map where you should chill and boom and play the late game. And he's like, nope, not for me. I got to kill. I got to kill. Well, all right. So he's going to go Man-at-Arms Archers. I mean, the thing that Daniel's going to have going for him here is that no one's going to expect this. And Andy, when he sits behind walls, is going to be feeling great. Oh, wait. Andy's going to come push this deer and see it. Right? Where else is he going to go with that scout? There's no deer over here. He doesn't want to lose it because he wants to heal it with a monk. He definitely wants to heal it with a monk. I guess it just comes down to if his micro is good enough to be able to manage the galleys and also manage the deer pushing. The scout is just standing there for now. And obviously, Andy's going to have the edge on water because he didn't go for a barracks and a range. He's going for more galleys. Oh, the scout is going that way. Ooh. So, how many man-at-arms do you need here? I think you need 4. 4 in the Vil on the house, and then archers with fletching. This could work. A sea tower is Daniel's best friend right now as well, because he doesn't have the navy. All right, things get interesting. Watch. Oh my god, Andy just sold his stone, so he can't build a tower either. Things are getting spicy. They're getting real spicy. I kind of want to see forging as well, but I don't think we'll see that. Okay, here we go. Now, will Andy notice this? He's microing on water. He's like, yeah, I'm beating him. I'm killing him. Freaking sea tower. And then here's Daniel knocking on the door. Andy notices. It's going to be too late, I think. He could drop a market. Oh my god, the units are through. That's so good for Daniel. That's so good. And Andy has to buy the stone back. Andy now has to drop a panic tower. And all hell's about to break loose in his base. He's still on the way to Castle Age. That's still a very positive thing for him here. But he's getting baited into the sea tower by Daniel. He still hasn't killed any fish. And now Daniel is here and the tower is up. Now Daniel, I don't think he should dive the tower. I think he needs to keep his army alive. No loom for Andy. No loom. No loom. Are you kidding me, bro? He thought he was so safe here. This never happens on Shoals. He thought he was fine. But the no loom's a disaster. Daniel's still been fishing. Daniel's definitely going to break through if loom isn't in. Loom is now in queue behind Castle Age. But, oh, man. Like, what is Andy supposed to do now? You make it to Castle Age, but your position is so painful. You pretty much have to go for a siege workshop, I think, for scorpions or something. Loom is on the way. Daniel will almost get trapped here. But Daniel's eco is pretty smooth. He can click up to castle. He could still probably break out of this gate. He just killed another villager. And wait! Andy deleted his tower! Bro! Most successful man-at-arms rush of Daniel's life. Of his entire career, man. Oh, God. The thing is, Daniel thinks the tower's there. Daniel thinks the tower's there. Andy, you don't have to run. Andy, you don't have to run. He thinks it's there, bro. Go back to your wood line. It's safe. Oh, what is happening? Okay, so Andy, and he still hasn't killed Daniel's fish. He probably will. He's gonna build a TC here. He can't take any of his golds. So I think Daniel should know that the TC's got to be on the gold now, and probably to the south. Daniel's building another barracks. I think he's expecting knights. I don't know why he's building a barracks, but that would make sense. I actually think the best thing for Daniel to do right now is just go back on water and boom. So you know what Daniel's going to do? He's not going to do that. Daniel's going to go for like crossbow and siege. He can't help himself. He's going to go like longsword and crap. Like, honestly, it's just so funny, dude. He thinks the tower... Oh, wait. He must realize the tower's gone now. Oh, he's like, what? Did I forget where the tower was? Like, I would never think that my opponent deleted the tower. I'd think that I, like, forgot where it was or something. Oh, man. Supplies! I told you! Like, okay... Guys, we said it in the previous game. If Daniel could just boom and for once in his life and relax, he's a god. But he can't relax. So he's got to go aggressive now. He's going to go long swords. And, oh, he kills 2 more vills. I mean, who can blame him? And we had supplies come in. And Andy's going to leave. Oh, my God. Eco's so bad that you have to completely evacuate. Andy, this is the wrong map, bro. This is an evacuation. This is Shoals. Ay. Poor Andy. I mean, he must be feeling like crap right now. This win is important. This is huge. This is a huge victory for Daniel. Really makes the group much closer. And, okay, here comes Daniel. Still no second town center. Why would we ever want that? When we can go for long swords and siege. And where... We have a pause. Where is Andy going right now? Okay, so Andy knows that the sneak is here. So his way to get up here is to walk through the middle. It's actually kind of smart.
Yes.
It's stupid we've arrived to this position in the game. But him going this way is actually the best way to go. And Daniel is going for an armored elephant for a town center that has no protection now. And Daniel knows that his opponent is over here. Daniel, bro, Guys, I know there's some bias that comes off in this. Like, obviously, good friends with Daniel, know him for a long time. That's the same with a lot of players. But it's not that's speaking. It's just my frustration with the fact that he can't take this opportunity and run with it. Build a TC, my brother. Build a TC. Just boom. Trust me. You can't, like... He's trying to kill everything. It's like, micro. Just relax. I mean, Daniel will never imagine that there's nothing here from Andy. Oh, and now, oh man, now we have a TC up here. Well, he will never expect that Andy is here. He will never expect that, because how could he possibly get there? He would assume that he would walk this way. He would have seen that. Dude, if Andy outposts that and Siege pushes that or something, things could get crazy. But bye-bye to this TC. Daniel now sees the Mangonel. This is... What am I looking at right now? This is hilarious. And Andy can still win. The galleys will wreck the longswords. The Mangonel stays a lot... No, it goes down. Ooh, and Daniel could see the Vils running this way, maybe? I swear, like, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Andy is going to outpost on both sides. He's going to know if his opponent's on gold or not. And he's going to know Daniel's there, and Daniel's never going to look. Meanwhile, Daniel's going to bring his push over this way to try and take this TC, and Andy needs some defense for it. I don't know what to suggest. This is hilarious. This is crazy. Look at Daniel's economy. Daniel's economy is so good. He's going to come back on water and win water, guys. War Galley's on the way. So with War Galley, he'll kill all the ships. He'll kill all the fish. He'll kill the sea tower. He'll kill the siege workshop. And oh, man. Okay, so there's the TC from Daniel. Andy should see that. He's building a barracks underneath the TC. But they're too busy, guys. It's too crazy. So here we go. Welcome to High Elo Legends, folks. We've got elephants and archers and scorpions and long swords. We have a barracks going down underneath someone's town center. Oh my god. I mean, the TC won't be able to fire arrows in a second. The Vils got to fight back. The Navy is here, so the Navy will clear up everything. The barracks completed. And the TC stays alive for FreakinAndy. Barely, but it stays alive. And now we see the TCs from Daniel. Oh, man. But listen, if Daniel loses this game, he's going to be so frustrated. Again, it's like... I know I'm oversimplifying it. But... as he's taking down all these buildings and will take down the houses, and Andy's got some big problems. If Daniel reached Castle Age and just immediately boomed, he would have such a significant lead. I cannot stress it. It'd be like a 25 or 30 villager lead. But he needs to kill, and that's what's fun about the guy. And he is, like... Andy's gonna have big wood problems. Big housing problems. But Andy's gonna... but Andy's gonna castle this. Daniel is 100% gonna lose this area and this TC. 100%. It's all Andy. Like, Andy needs a job right now. These vills are gonna die. Well, he might need a castle here, actually. Actually, I think the better play is to build a castle here. You can't... Oh, okay. Well, these vills hate you. They all need a monk right now. And there's the castle from Andy. And now Daniel sees it, and now Daniel needs to leave. And now Daniel definitely needs to take out this TC. Long swords could get there and do that right now, maybe. This is actually a game. Like, res collected so far ahead for Daniel, it's not even close. But it's actually kind of winnable. On Schultz, he's got both gold areas locked down. Daniel doesn't have any relics. I mean, this is just crazy, dude. This is hilarious. I think... So, again, I don't know if you guys know... tell me if this is the case for normal players. But for me, and for some high-level players, if a game like game number 2 happens, your brain is just broken, right? Like, it was such a messy, crazy game that the messy craziness just stays with you for the day, and you can't turn it off. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. Daniel also, like I said, just loves to destroy, loves to kill, loves to be aggressive. But there's a lot to manage now. He's got a siege workshop over here he's got to manage. He's got a siege workshop over here he's got to manage. And, oh, man. I mean, if he takes this side, if he kills these vills, there should be no way back for Andy. Mangonels are on the way now as well from Daniel. But now here comes some knights and Genoese crossbowmen from Andy. And there's no defense for Daniel. Oh, quick walls. Quick walls. Good quick walls. Could bring some fire ships over, maybe. The knights can also just run around. And Daniel's actually concerned about that. So he's dropping a castle here instead of a castle here. But that's still fine because the siege push will accomplish what he wants here. He could still go out and get the gold as well. Daniel converts a knight. Castle will go up. And FreakinAndy taps out. Oh my goodness. What a funny game. Again, Daniel gets the win and his aggression pays off. And listen, sometimes you just have to bring the unexpected. And that's exactly what he did. Now, it was so unexpected that FreakinAndy didn't even get Loom. FreakinAndy assumed, because every other Shoals game has just been win water, no one goes feudal age army. He just assumed that would never happen. And you can also see, because I think in a normal game, you're assuming a lot, but you know what's possible. So, like, I think what happens, I want to go back to when the man-at-arms attacked. In a normal game where this could be possible, I think Andy reacts a lot faster. But, I mean, look at the timing of it, right? He just clicked up the castle without Loom. It was perfectly timed from Daniel, because even Loom from Andy would have saved a lot. So, look, he's microing here. He hears the attack noise because of the galleys and because of the sea tower. And by the time he looks over here, look, he just notices it. The palisade's halfway down. And then the army breaks in. Then he has to buy the stone back. Then, of course, he had no Loom. And then the rest is history. So Daniel gets 2 critical wins there. And that really makes things much closer in the group. That was very necessary for Daniel. And that is big in his chances to get playoffs and potential survival. I think that'll be the conversation for both Daniel and Andy. I'll show the group in a second. But there's the difference in res collected. That was really good from Daniel. Again, it was just so funny because, like, he was making such a big force for villagers that weren't there anymore. It was creative from Andy to run away. From Andy's perspective, he's going to be kicking himself. He's like, man, I really should have done better there. I think he would have liked his position in Castle Age. This was his home map as well, so... People want to see the tower delete. I mean, yeah, I can show it. I'm guessing he tried to delete some palisade walls. Oh, he probably tried to delete the houses. To get a villager out, maybe? Let's see. Yep. He deletes the tower there. And yeah, I didn't realize that right away because I wasn't really looking for it because that's, again, not something that happens. So, let's look to the group real quick, see what that means. Actually, let's go, instead of that, well, it is that, but let's actually look to the probability group. I think that's a better way to show it. So you go to T90official.tv, go to the Titans League tab, and you guys can look at all this stuff as well. So it's still early, so it's not as crazy with probabilities. There's still a lot that could happen, but obviously it wasn't looking good for Daniel. The order doesn't necessarily matter, but Daniel wins 2 straight. So let's just see. Here's the chances when it was 1-1. And then you look at the potential once Daniel wins 2. And it still doesn't look fantastic for him near the top, but I think it's more than fine. I still think it's more than fine. If he loses that game, really rough. Really rough. You got to remember from Daniel's perspective as well, Daniel's upcoming sets. So Daniel will have a set against Dark, which he will feel is somewhat evenly matched and for the taking. He'll have a set against Valis, which is up for the taking. And then there should be another one listed here. Should also be Daniel Viper, which I missed. And the Daniel Viper one is going to be the one where obviously Viper's the big favorite. Andy, he has 3 wins, but he is yet to play Hart, who Daniel already played. And he is yet to play Viper. And then I think the opponent he would have to play is Dark. So it's a very interesting group. And we see Hart and Viper play tomorrow. What I'm interested in, like, what does this say if Hart wins 2-1 over Viper tomorrow? I mean, if Viper doesn't bring tip-top shape, because I know Hart's going to bring tip-top shape, I could see a 2-1 for Hart tomorrow. We'll see what happens when we get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's why this site is cool, so you guys could check that out and mess around with that. And see how that see like what could happen in both gold and both platinum.